The saga of wild new Nintendo Switch 2 leaks before Nintendo officially reveals the console continues today, because you probably remember yesterday us talking about that accessory manufacturer by the name of Genki that showed up at CES straight up with some dummy models, allowing people to magnetically attach and detach the Joy-Cons, sharing everything they knew about the console with journalists that were there, and just hands-on, regular goers were able to go check this out firsthand and get their hands on a mock-up unit to the console. Of course, it's a lot of free marketing and exposure for them, and you could argue the Switch 2 as well, even though I don't think Nintendo's necessarily happy about this stuff. But further details have come from that, where we have claims from the Genki crew on stage that they actually have a black market Nintendo Switch 2 that they based all of this stuff around. So literally a finalized retail console, according to them. That may or may not be true, but they are also talking about things like the exact supposed release date, or at least release month of this hardware, which does line up with what we've seen from some other people who definitely have held the console in hand. So we have to get on the same page with that. Then we have to go over literally the official logo being backed up by Pioro and Necro Felipe side by side, and just saying this is what the Switch 2 logo looks like precisely. Even new features for the console, because while there's still some debate online around the mouse functionality and that supposed optical sensor that's on the side of the Joy-Con, more information and statements from Genki on what that is came out as well, in addition to what they believe the C button is for. So there's absolutely a ton to unpack in today's video. Before we get on the same page with all of this, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on your bell notification to join Sunbro Nation if you're new here. And I want to first kick it off by discussing the supposed release month according to Genki, and they are saying them and other accessory manufacturers all have the same information. As you can see this first post over on our Gaming Leaks and Rumors, which reads, French journalist claims Genki owns a real Switch 2 and April release. The Nintendo Switch 2 is coming to CES 2025 with several accessory makers showing off a model of the console and its accessories. Genki, with whom I was able to chat, claims to own a real Switch 2. Article and video tomorrow on Numera, if that's how you say it. He said that when asked about the reveal trailer and release date, release everyone says April, announcement they don't have the info. There is then an update to this post below, and there's only a few relevant portions, so we will skip through some of it. But what you can see, the real Nintendo Switch 2 would circulate among accessory stores is the real Switch 2 currently walking in Las Vegas. According to some accessories, and they mean accessory manufacturers, this is a rough translation done, machine translation or otherwise, it was possible to acquire it on the black market, provided that you put money. It could be a lie to maintain the myth, but the accessory manufacturers proudly claim to own the real Nintendo console. The fact that it does not provide any details about the software is suspicious, but several brands, including Genki, indicate that their mold was made from the real console, not 3D plans. Is the release of Nintendo Switch 2 in April real? Several accessory stakers seem to agree on this period, while the date of March 28th, 2025 had previously been mentioned. So as a company that's actually manufacturing accessories as a partner of Nintendo, not like directly partnered, they're not under their umbrella or anything like that, or a licensed first-party accessory manufacturer, but still making the statement when you are creating accessories for a company like Nintendo and you have an LLC or corporation behind you, and you are straight up saying that you bought a black market Switch 2 that's out there walking around in Las Vegas somewhere, it's a wild claim. And who knows if this is Genki just trying to drum up more talk about them as a brand, or who knows if it's legit claims. We had the D brand CEO say that it was a 100% accurate 3D scan of the real console. So presumably they had a contact with the real console and they were able to get a 3D scan of it, having all of the exact dimensions figured out and things. Whether or not that's what Genki did, or they chose to front the money and actually purchase a black market Switch 2 so they can make all of this stuff in-house in their factory, that's all stuff that we may or may not ever find out if it's true. But the April release date is an interesting idea, and one that I hope is accurate, but I'm not entirely sold on it just yet. There's multiple accessory manufacturers that are talking about springtime and really earlier rather than later promoting their accessories for Switch 2. I'm getting emails in my inbox personally aiming for the end of February for marketing campaigns for accessories for Switch 2, which is interesting timing. Like, it seems like these accessory manufacturers are expecting it to come out sooner, but is that accurate, or might Nintendo still opt for a May or June release time? I am 50-50 on this one personally, but but you have to remember that Next Handheld, who does appear to be 100% legit at this point because all of the information they put out there is being corroborated by multiple other sources, that Reddit leaker, they heard from their source that a January reveal and a March or April launch is what was on the table, and they even doubled down on that information recently. However, with one big asterisk, they said it's not from a first-party source, but rather more of a supply chain type of thing on when Nintendo can get enough consoles ready to push to market. So a very short reveal to release turnaround if Nintendo goes this direction, but now we have to talk about some of the features that have been divulged from this Genki presentation, because we're not even through all of the headlines or reads that we got to get through here. So moving right along, Genki told IGN that the Switch 2 can physically fit in the original Switch's dock, but it has indentations to prevent it from being used with the original dock. Also, rumors among accessory manufacturers pointing to the C button being used for a camera. The Genki representative stated that the new console looks like it can physically fit in the old Nintendo Switch dock, but certain indentations prevent it from actually being usable in the dock itself. Additionally, while the current Joy-Cons won't physically attach to the sides of the new Switch, the Genki spokesperson said the company is assuming that they will work as wireless controllers, stating that other accessory manufacturers are banking on that capability. Unfortunately, the representative said that they didn't have any information on a new C button present on their mock-up of the right Joy-Con. They said that there had been some rumors among accessory manufacturers about it being camera related, but could not verify the actual function and did not know if the Switch 2 possessed a camera at all. Continuing with more information in reference to another headline I want to get to in terms of functionality, Genki reaffirms mouse functionality speculation in Switch 2 Joy-Cons via The Verge. The representative also tells The Verge that housed within the mounting channel of the Joy-Cons is an optical sensor, and by using another attachment, the new Joy-Cons may offer mouse-like functionality. It sounds a bit like what Lenovo does with its Legion Go handheld. Further information to back this up that you may have seen, there are actually some spotted shipping data that does actually have plastic adhesive that is used to stick to like the bottom of a mouse to basically seamlessly scroll around on a mouse pad, something that you have like that. And this post points out that even Next Handheld corroborated the exact same claim that something similar to the Legion Go with Nintendo Switch 2 Joy-Cons would be baked in, aka the ability to do point and click controls or something to do with a pointer on the mouse on the Joy-Con when you turn it sideways. Starting off with the camera function, I don't know that I'm buying that one, although you could say that that original look at the first Switch 2 mock-up that we saw online from a Chinese YouTuber that put it out there, they specifically said that their understanding was that top USB-C port would be used for multiple different types of accessories, but one of the big ones would be a camera that plugs into the Nintendo Switch 2 console, and that's largely tied to that C button. But I don't think Nintendo's packing it in, and would they really put a dedicated button for something that is an optional accessory add-on? It's possible. I am still in the mindset that that's going to be a system level function button, probably onboard system chat, and a community tab of some sort is what that will open. And we even know that a microphone is baked into the Nintendo Switch 2 at a hardware level, so that's kind of my speculation on it, but there is more information potentially supporting the camera idea when it comes to an accessory. That does sound wacky. It does sound like Nintendo and their gimmicks, so who knows if that is something they might explore. When it comes to the Joy-Con functionality, I am a huge fan of that idea. I think just Nintendo having the ability to have point and click controls, whether it be while you're scrolling through your console itself, maybe they include a full-fledged web browser on this thing, and it's actually kind of like a convenient experience to browse the web while on TV in docked mode or even in tabletop mode. That could be a really cool function for the console. And then you talk about that in gameplay with real-time strategy games or even first-person shooters. It might not be the most convenient with the Joy-Cons that come with the console, but I'm sure third-party accessory manufacturers, once this optical sensor is confirmed and that's what the functionality is from Nintendo, they will likely be using this as like a third-party mouse altogether, where you have all the buttons that are assigned to the Nintendo Switch controller, but it's literally a full grippable mouse in your hand. You can play almost mouse and keyboard style games on a Switch 2. That's a really cool prospect. Not to mention the fact that when we were seeing those Next Handheld claims way back when, before all of these additional leaks, and he said there's a new orientation you can use the Joy-Con with and it's brand new functionality, we didn't have any of that verified. We didn't think it sounded likely or legit, and now we're seeing that optical sensor in there from accessory manufacturers and just from straight up Joy-Con leaks from a factory, and it seems like it's all lining up. So I personally am on board with the optical mouse thing. I am not on board necessarily with the the camera functionality, and that does very much more sound like speculation and rumor and hearsay from other accessory manufacturers, not so much of a stated fact like the mouse functionality in the Joy-Con. But from there, we have to talk about the reason why a reveal might be imminent soon, and this is definitely where the video gets way more into the speculation territory. We know it's probably going to be happening sometime soon. I am betting any time between now and February 4th, which is when Nintendo's next full-scale quarterly investor briefing happens, and they have been very consistent throughout all of 2024 with revealing new info about their next-gen hardware at their investors briefings, and I think this is no exception to that rule. I think we will indeed get some kind of first-look trailer before that next investor briefing so they can actually talk about this functionality and talk about questions with investors directly. You have this next post which says, and this is the Japanese Twitter account, but new Nintendo banner. Instead of promoting their game Donkey Kong Country Remastered HD, it shows Mario and Luigi, an old render on a blank background like the old days Wii U and 3DS era Nintendo Direct. Then this user says, edit, I checked Nintendo Japan Twitter account with the Wayback Machine, and they used the exact same banner when they announced the Switch back in October of 2016. You then have another post from Nintendeal, a very prominent deal tracker account over on Twitter that says, Nintendeals, I am now 99% sure Switch 2 will be officially revealed this month. He said, I'm not Centro, so I won't be posting shit I can't independently confirm with multiple sources, but what I've heard this morning has changed my mind, but honestly, I have no idea if it'll be this week or not. The last interesting post I want to point out has to do with the Nintendo Switch 2 official logo, as this comes from Necro Felipe, and he says, good morning, and I can say that for the first time I got access to the Nintendo Switch logo thanks to a photo of the console that a reliable source sent me. Based on what I saw and respecting the measurements, I recreated it and it will be exactly like this. Now, before we look at that said logo up close, we do have Pioro straight up replying to it with a winky face, and then Necro Felipe basically putting the two hands up. And then we have Pioro replying to a user who's talking about the first leak he can truly trust because of his track record. And he said, no, I talked about the logo 2 weeks ago, and I recently got something to back it up even more. And Pioro also mentioned that he doesn't know what the background color is, but the actual logo itself, the official marketing logo, will be a white Nintendo Switch 2 logo that you can see on screen here. Now, initially, Necro Felipe posted this up in gray and got a lot of people talking with a gray background, thinking that that's what this meant. He then said people really took the gray background seriously. Let me post the black version just to keep them calm. All he's saying is he doesn't know what the background has to do with anything and how Nintendo's going to market it. It's not saying that instead of red and white, it's going to now be black and white or gray and white, but rather just that the logo itself does look exactly like this. It is Nintendo Switch 2, and this is what we should expect the console to ultimately launch with. So tons of new info there, as I mentioned, a lot to digest and go through. Let me know how you feel about all of this in the comments down below. Are you excited to hear about the prospects of an April release time for this console? Do you think that is something that Nintendo will indeed do? Or are you more on the mindset of thinking that, yes, those Nate the Hate reports and others online chiming in saying that May and June release time is more likely? And do you think we see the console imminently revealed this month, or do you think there's a chance Nintendo waits into February to finally reveal this thing? What do you think about all of the new functionality? What do you think that C button is for? And do you like the idea of optical mouse pointer controls for Nintendo's next gen hardware? So make sure you share all your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below before you leave, regardless if we agree or disagree. Also, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on your notification bell. And with that, I've been Sunbro, you've been Nation. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.